All right, everything. I got my scene
Hmm.
set up. Fantastic. Oh, I love
That's
it.
good.
Sometimes, CD, I'm a Todd Howard. I Todd Howard in this bitch, and things just fucking work. Doesn't happen often, but sometimes shit just works.
Todd
Uh,
towering it. Hey, well, just don't fall through the floor.
yeah, that too. Oh goodness. So I'm
Looks
gonna
to
be
glitch.
real. It's been
Hmm.
I put some work in this week. You probably know. I've been
Hmm.
putting in this fucking work this week. I finished 7 Remake, so I finished the main game of Remake. Oh my god. Sweet Jesus. Remake, all right. So Remake went from like being a game with bosses to being a fucking game with bosses. I realize that may not make sense. Let me put it like this. Up until a certain point, a boss would pop up like, oh, cool, boss.
Hmm.
You get to some of these later chapters, and it's like, oh, shit, a boss. Oh, shit, a boss. Oh, fuck. I'm not ready for this. Oh, God. Yeah, no, there were quite a few bosses in the last like 3 chapters of Remake where I
Hmm.
legit went, oh, oh fuck, oh fuck, a boss. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh god, why is this so difficult? Um have you done I know you were playing 7. Well, it's the base
Hmm.
7. Have you done the Shinra office building yet? The Shinra building scenario? You break into to the Shinra building.
Um, I've been up to the wall market so far.
So no, you haven't done it. Okay. I don't want to.
Hmm.
There's a moment. So there's a boss in the Shinra building in the original game that's like
Hmm.
pretty lame. It's like you fighting a robot while riding an elevator, right?
Hmm. Okay.
So the remake, being the remake and not having an ounce of fucking chill in its entire goddamn body, does
Hmm.
this boss, but it does so in the most over the top way. Because this boss pulls a goddamn Halo ODST and falls through an elevator shaft onto the main floor to fucking fight you. It's the most metal shit you've ever seen.
I mean, when you look at what they did to the intro tutorial boss, it's not a big surprise.
Pulls a fucking ODST move, just whoop, and I'm like, oh shit. Oh,
The boss is going Helldivers.
yeah, Jesus Christ. There was that boss. That boss was raw. Like I didn't. Okay, so let me put a little bit of a context. I
Hmm.
very rarely died in my playthrough of Rebirth or my playthrough of Remake.
Hmm.
I'm not saying I'm an amazing gamer. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there were very few instances that actually killed me in
Hmm.
Remake. But I will also then say that there were quite a few bosses that were challenging. So take that how you will.
Hmm.
Parse that shit however you please. So I'm not amazing, but there were quite a few very tough instances of bosses. And oh my god, some of these bosses towards the end of the game were absolute hellish. There was a robot that robot boss had like
Hmm.
multiple phases. It was like blowing up pillars to the building that I needed to hide behind to avoid its fuck you laser. You had
Hmm.
you had segments where it's charging up its fuck you beam and you need to do enough damage to it to fucking stop it. There are like
Hmm.
so many points in this game where they have like MMO mechanics. It's like you gotta dodge shit, you gotta micromanage the 2 people in your party. I'm like, oh my
Hmm.
god, why?
Hmm.
Oh god.
It's almost as if there's thought behind the whole thing.
Oh my god, there's so much thought. There's so much. There's the fight with Rufus Shinra, or as I said to you, I hate this asshole specifically. On an individual level, I hate this fucking guy. His boss
Mm-hmm.
fight, oh my god. His boss literally boils down to, look, motherfucker, you're gonna play by the rules, or you die. There are rules to this fight, and unless you are playing by the rules that I have now established,
Mm-hmm.
you will die. And when I say, I don't mean that hyperbolically, I mean legitimately. If you do not play by Rufus Shinra's rules that he established within the
Mm-hmm.
fight, you get fucked. I'm just like, okay, so what are the rules, nigga? What's the rule? Oh, that's the rules. Okay, shit. Oh, you fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. Cause okay, so one of Remake's problems, and I say problem, is you can like unga bunga your way through quite a bit of the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can caveman with a club your way through quite a bit of Remake.
Literally with a
Like
club,
a baseball
with a
bat. But
spiked
yeah.
club.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
with a baseball bat, but yes, basically a spike club. Basically. You can like unga bunga your way through like
Mm-hmm.
probably like 2/3 of the game. I would say about two up until you get to the pillar, which is almost about 2/3 which is getting close to 2/3 of the game. You can unga bunga caveman your way through the game. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's the most classy thing to do, but you can do it.
It's an option.
You can unga bunga your way
Mm-hmm.
through it. It's up until that point though that the game says, "Okay,
Now let's see if you paid attention.
now let's see if you have higher brain function and see if you can actually think." And I ran into this quite a few times where I would get to certain like enemy types or
Mm-hmm.
combination of enemy types and like almost get fucked by them because they would like there'd be this combination of like shit going on all at the same time and you got to think like, all right, who am I prioritizing? How do I need to
Mm-hmm.
like address this situation? Oh my god, Tifa's already dead. Fuck.
The game essentially checks if you're using your analyze materia at all.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, no, the assessed materia is basically required.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many instances in this game where if you don't use the assess, you just have no idea how the boss is going to function.
Mm-hmm.
There is so one of the things I ran into I'm sorry, my entire bits is going to be me talking about remakes. So just strap in.
That's fine.
We're here. We're here now. We're here now, CD. This is it. This is what you signed up for.
It's a big game.
So there is like towards the latter part of the game before you lock in to finish the game throws like 9 different quests at you. Like all at once. You open up your quest log and now there's like 9 empty slots in it to fill in. And I initially was like, oh fuck me, I don't want to dedicate this much time to doing this shit. But I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess I enjoy sticking my hand on a hot plate. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know like who abused me as a child to make me want to do that, but I did. I stuck my hand on the hot plate, burned
So
off
the game
all
gave
this.
you 9 hot plates. Ow! Ow!
And by hot plate
Each
number
and
7,
every one of them.
and by hot plate number 7, my fucking nerves on that hand were gone. I did not feel shit. So like these quests all had like little storylines and like little things attached, but they all presented new combat scenarios or just new shit to me that I was not ready for. So I'd run into like they started introducing like new variants of monsters I've already faced that now have like completely different mechanics attached to them, which
Mm-hmm.
fuck you game. Fuck you. There's
It did more than
one
just recolor them.
Oh, they did much more than recolor them. There's one that like you can barely damage it, but you have to kill the clones it makes to be able to damage it.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's another one where it's a behemoth and you have to damage its upper and lower body. You have to kill those two parts of its body in order to raise its stagger gauge. And its head or its horns.
Do the
its
middle
horns
part.
are invincible. You can't really hurt its horns. I don't know. I don't know if you can. I couldn't. I just gave up on that shit. That shit just got me killed. So I was like, I'm avoiding that. Fuck that noise. But yeah, no. The you get to Shinra building, and the game puts you on fucking notice. It's like, okay, caveman. All right, Mr. Unga Bunga. Let's test your higher brain function. Let's test how you can fucking multitask. And then, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to fucking spoil it. There's a fight that is not in the original. In the Shinra mansion. I don't want to even talk about it, because that fight is fucking nightmare fuel. Jesus!
More than the Nightmare House.
Yeah, oh my god. The nightmare... The fucking Hell House was already bad enough. See, all that fight did was tell me, like, I was fucked. Like, that fight, I was like, the thing is, I've talked about this with you before, where, like, what makes the Hell House such a fucked up moment for me, but, like, the greatest moment of all time, is the fact that the announcers, the voice actors for the two announcers who were like hyping up the fucking crowd, you know, the fucking hype men, they fucking no-sell it, dude. They sell it. They sell the fact that they're about to put a house into this fucking arena. And I mean, like, you have to be either the greatest salesman of all time or an Attitude Era WWF fucking arena announcer to do that shit. That's the only way. The only people who could have pulled that shit off were the same ones talking about RoboCop saving Kane from the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And yes, that did happen. That is actual wrestling lore. And I hate the fact that I know that. I do. I fucking hate it. That is stuck in my brain now, and I will never get that shit out. That is a brain worm that is now officially just lodged in my brain, and I have to live with that knowledge.
Wriggling there all over.
Fuck. But yeah, no, Remake was an experience. I completed all the quests that the game assigned to me, and testing my fucking patience. Testing my patience at every turn with these fucking quests. These quests test my patience. Because I was gonna skip the last like 9 quests. I was like, I'm not doing that. I want to get to the end of the game. But then I did one of them, and I'm like, I mean, I guess I can do them. And then I did them all, and then I'm like, all right, time to finish the fucking game. I'm not doing anything. Fuck, man. Look, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm gonna tell you is you should play Remake, because this is out, and I still haven't been able to fucking play this because I'm trying to finish the last bit of content I have for Remake so I can play this with impunity. And Max is still posting fucking parts of this fucking shit on his YouTube channel. And that shit hurts my soul! Because I'm like, thankfully, the man is nice enough not to put super spoiler heavy shit in his fucking thumbnails. And that makes me happy. He's at least like reticent of like, okay.
He's good with that.
I'm not gonna like, I don't want to like spoil the shit for people. So that's cool. But I'm going to get to this. I swear to God, I'm going to get to this. And when I get to it and I hit some fucked up shit in this game, you're going to fucking hear about it on this goddamn show, CD. I'm not fucking with people anymore.
Actually. Yeah, and Max has been, I think, already 36 hours or so in.
Yeah, Jesus. The man's a monster.
Even more considering that's just one of the titles of his YouTube
Yeah,
videos. So
that's the
probably has done
title
more.
to like a VOD he's uploaded. We don't know how far.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't like I don't go to his streams not because I don't love him, but I don't want to spoil my shit. I don't want to
Yeah.
spoil it. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've taken up enough time with this show going on about remake. I love it. It's been. I'm happy to complete it. I just got to get done with this DLC thing they did called Intermission, which has been
Mm-hmm.
a test.
Interlude.
Yeah, which has been a
Wasn't it?
test.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Intermission,
Oh, was it intermission? Okay.
which has been a test of my talent and
Mm-hmm.
skill because it requires me to play very differently than my unga bunga brain is used to. As you know, I caveman quite a bit in these games, so this is
Mm-hmm.
forcing me not to caveman. So fantastic. I'll let you go, and then I could talk about one last thing before we get to the show proper.
All right.
It's not going to be very long, I promise. So
Mm-hmm.
you're up.
Yeah, not gonna be too much for me either. The boss thing has been a good, interesting theme because there's some of that too with mine. I've continued playing Last Epoch on the Falconeer, and well, I've continued a few chapters on, and I've now met a boss, and that caused me to put the game aside for a while.
Oh, hold on. I gotta turn my heat off in this room. It's getting too hot. It's about to get spicy up in this bitch. One sec. One sec. It's about to get fucking spicy. Hold on. Hold on. About getting my goddamn jacket off. Fucking hot in here. Ah. Professionalism, ladies and gentlemen. Professionalism. Whew. 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 It's getting a little warm.
Mm-hmm.
I have a space heater in the corner and it was cold in here, so I turned that bitch on at like 75 degrees. And this is not a very small room. I mean, this is not a very big room. So you leave that on for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, it
Woo.
goes.
Whew. Got toasted. So you hit a boss, and you subsequently said no and put the controller down. Got it.
Essentially, because up to that point, there were several bosses, and going through it was decent. Obviously, the regular progress is easy, considering it's a hack and slash, so no big deal there. The bosses, sometimes a decent challenge. The pre-boss in this one, there's two bosses right, one after the other. Essentially a pre-mini boss before. That one's decently challenging. That's okay. Then I continue on to the big boss. This is one of the, well, one could say god bosses in the game, because there's this one and there's the one later on in the story that I know of. And, well, so technically this could be considered a fine challenge, but there's a few issues with it.
Oh, as there normally would be.
Mm-hmm. The attacks that the boss does, are usually have tells, obviously, so yeah, okay, fine. The problems are thus. The boss has definitely too much health for the amount of, he has a few attacks which repeat ad infinitum, and when you slog through the health, those repeat and repeat and repeat. It takes far too long. And it has an additional phase that is not dependent on health, but on time. So if you take too long, that second phase can trigger multiple times. Other problems, several of his attacks are effectively one-hit kills.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah. One of them is, for example, he has sort of a beam blast, which goes from one side of the screen to the next as he looks through the room. And well, if that so much as touches you, you're pretty much dead. I've survived, let's say a fraction of let's say a second at most, and most of the health was gone anyway. So if you stand even close to that one, dead. There's another one where a bigger circle on the floor appears, and it's essentially a laser from the ceiling or a beam blast from the ceiling, insta dead. If you don't have characters that are really tanky, and even those almost don't survive it. But, and some of the other attacks, yeah, okay. They're fine, but if you even make one mistake, essentially dead.
Cool.
And yeah, in the second phase, it's you have to be multitasking quite a bit because for one, there's waves that come at you, waves of water come at you, spawning from several directions. Then there's additional spawns there that you have to take
I'm gonna be real
care
with you.
of if you don't want to get swamped. And you have to destroy several of the boss's spawned tentacles in that area. And you have to just move through the area to find them because you don't know where they are, and the room is at least 2 cameras high or something like that. So you have to be constantly moving around to see where the next tentacle is. And meanwhile, spawning shit, and especially those waves do a ton of damage. And at most you have, let's say, 3 or 4 potions with you.
Oh.
No more healing than that.
Oh, cool. So you can't
Besides your regular regeneration, but
you can't even pull off the Diablo approach, a battle of attrition, where it's just you
not really,
chugging
no.
down health potions like a college kid with Red Bull.
Nope. Sometimes you get additional spawns of health potions, but it's not much. So yeah, that was. I did several tries. It didn't work, and the problem is also it resets completely once you try again.
Hmm.
And if you quit the game at that point, you have to go through 2 additional dungeons before you get to that one, because there's no teleport near it. So 2 additional maps you have to go through before you even get back to it. And then you have to additionally beat the pre-boss as well.
Oh, so I'm being punished. Yeah, I'm being punished. That's what you're telling me. They punishing me. Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I don't like it, but I'm picking it up. I get it. Yeah. All right. We punishing people. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Fantastic. It's great. I love it.
So yeah, unless they do some kind of balancing update or something, I'm not sure when I'm gonna pick that up again with that build at least.
You know, that's fair.
We'll see.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, you know, we talk
that's not a good boss design.
We talk
especially
a lot.
not during the regular story. Later on, be my guest, do hard bosses, that even ones that can kill you one hit, because at that point you expect to make your build ridiculous. But at that point, that's not really good.
Seems a little excessive, honestly.
Especially since the rest of the game up to that point was nowhere near that. This wasn't just a difficulty spike. This is essentially a difficulty rocket. So yeah, not great. And I've definitely not been the only one not being pleased with that. There are several others in the community forums as well that didn't take those well.
Yeah, that doesn't sound. I know we've talked about it a lot, about how like games have like the difficulty wall, It's supposed to be a difficulty curve, but sometimes it turns into a goddamn brick fucking wall out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And like on one hand, I as a creator that deals with JRPGs, I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
used to like the concept, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
never fun to hit that fucking wall, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I've hit that wall more than my fair share of times, but
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
does kind of make me wonder what the optimal play conditions were for people who created the game where that does not seem like a difficulty wall. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
always kind of wondered because like obviously like fundamentally I don't think any game created is not meant to be beaten. Like you made the
Mm-hmm.
game, I'm going to assume your goal is for me to beat it. So therefore I have
Yeah.
to assume that the way it's designed was meant to be
Mm-hmm.
beaten. But
Yeah.
then you get to moments like you're describing and it's like, okay, what were the play conditions of the people who created this? Were
Mm-hmm.
they
Or
made
the thought
this
behind it. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
were they made this and went, yeah, yeah, the player can get past, yeah, the player could handle it just fine. Like that's why I want to know. That's, you know what I mean? Like that
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that notion of like what the play condition was there, that you look at that
Mm-hmm.
situation and go, oh yeah, they can handle that.
Mm-hmm. Especially since this is in contrast to, let's say, your usual JRPG. With your usual JRPG, you have a set amount of skills that you have available. There's usually not a big variation at that point in the story. You have your, yeah, let's say, your few levels in terms of variation. You can get to it a few levels earlier or maybe a few levels later, depending on how much grinding you did.
Right,
So
right.
the variables are relatively limited. With a game like Last Epoch, there's a lot more. Because
Way
you
more
have
variation.
several character classes that you have available. Each character class has 3 different masteries, and you have your skill sets that you can vary a lot. Not just inside the skills, you can specialize the skills, you can change that, you can select different kinds of skills because you have at that point probably a pool of, let's say, 10 skills. And obviously, so with the shortcuts, you have access to, let's say, 5 at most.
Oh.
Because you have your Q, W, E, R, and T, and the right click. So that's 6. 6 different
Mm.
skills, and you have a pool of 10, and you can count all that, and then you count the variations of the skills. So there's a lot more to a lot bigger range in terms of what the characters could be like. They could be squishy but do more damage, or they can be tanky and do less damage.
I
And
almost feel like the
mhm,
game is trying to push players towards a certain kind of play. Like maybe
yeah,
they're
and that's
encouraging
not
people
really good
towards,
with a game like that.
yeah, it cuz it almost sounds like they want
Hmm.
players to pick a certain way of building their character, but they don't want to like make it blatantly apparent. So you hit a situation like this where you get curb stomped and it's like,
Hmm.
I gotta build my character. I have to fucking respec my character into something else, and then you find out the rest of the game is basically built around that spec, and it's like, well, that's no fun. I have to play this way now.
Yeah, yeah, it's probably unlikely, but the boss kind of seems to be limited to a certain kind of builds, yeah.
Which is gross.
Which is completely antithetical to the rest of the design because pretty much all the design is around freedom to build your character. So
Hmm.
that would make no fucking sense to say,
No.
okay, we want the rest of the content to be played in a certain way. We're gonna put this boss here. This seems more like just a badly designed boss.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Goodness.
Gaming wise, that's been pretty much my week. I've done a bit more game development stuff, but
So I'm gonna mention this because I think it's
mm-hmm.
hilarious. So
All right.
CD, you are also online, so I think you'll understand
Mm-hmm.
why I find what I'm about to talk about really amusing. But are you
Mm-hmm.
aware of what happens when you give gamers the ability to use a character creator?
They make all kinds of characters, yeah.
Oh boy, they do. And Capcom dropped the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator just
Mm-hmm.
as a standalone product for people to use and
Yeah.
create
I
characters.
haven't seen much, but I have seen one example specifically.
I've seen Xehanort. Someone created
Mm-hmm.
Xehanort from Kingdom Hearts, and
Ah.
I
I've seen Michael Jackson.
oh goodness. Every time, man. Every time a
Mm-hmm.
character creator that's in depth comes out, people lose their
Yep.
goddamn minds. And I
They
fucking love the
go
internet.
wild on it. Mm-hmm.
Oh. I just wanted to bring that up because as soon as this character creator came out, I realized just like how much I'm not taking advantage of it. Cause I was like, I made a character and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And
Mm-hmm.
then people started putting out what they're doing, and I'm like, oh, I'm just not
Mm-hmm.
trying. That's the problem. I'm not thinking fourth dimensionally. Y'all thinking differently. I'm just not. I'm basic. Y'all built different. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our first story today. I'm going out of order for this first one. Sorry, C.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to break it to you.
Yeah, no problem.
No sooner did no sooner did I talk about it, but it got settled. Yuzu settles its lawsuit
Yeah.
to Nintendo fairly quickly, if I may say
Yeah.
so myself.
Mm-hmm.
Insanely
Extremely
fast.
quickly.
Very fast. Within days of the story that there was going to even be a lawsuit, they
Mm-hmm.
settled.
Yep.
They settled for like a few million.
2.4 million or something like that.
2.4 million. Removing all their stuff and ending
Mm-hmm.
development.
Yep.
So okay, that's
Yuzu is gone as well as the Citra 3DS emulator. Even though
right.
that wasn't essentially part of the lawsuit, but might have been in the settlement, or they probably just said, yeah, we're not doing this anymore at all.
Right. So now I want to mention that one of the sources I pulled,
Mm-hmm.
I can't verify it 100%, but it doesn't strike me as being all that crazy considering part
Mm-hmm.
of this lawsuit was about how many users had pirated
Mm-hmm.
Tears of the Kingdom. So it kind of went in tangent with that, but I don't want to necessarily claim this one other source I got as being like
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a way to verify it. I'm going to be real,
Yeah.
but it doesn't strike me as that surprising. Like it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
it's not outside the realm of possibility for me to imagine
Mm-hmm.
this. So there was some Discord messages that got dropped. Okay, Mutual broke down more context on the Yuzu case. Nintendo was going to win no matter what because Yuzu had support fixes for specifically Tears of the Kingdom in emulation behind Patreon they were charging for.
Mm-hmm.
Since the game didn't release yet at the time, as well as they were making money off an unreleased game, I could see why they settled. So they were
Yeah, that might have
creating
been one of the things, yeah.
now that
There's other things as well.
oh yeah, I'd imagine so. There were
Mm-hmm.
like support. There were like fixes tied behind Patreon. Were there? There were like this. The
Yeah,
Patreon wasn't
probably
just
pre-release versions of
pre-release
the emulator.
builds of the emulator,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah,
is already
certainly.
kind of a shaky
I
ground to be on.
I wouldn't say so. No, I wouldn't say
We
so. Just in general, having a financial incentive for your emulator, I wouldn't say that in itself is is a problem there. The problem is starts more when you build stuff upon unreleased versions of a game, for example, specifically there. And the other problem here is, I think, also that the emulator itself uses the official keys from hacked Switch consoles to decrypt the
That was the thing
to
I was reading
decrypt them,
about.
to decrypt the games. And I think that's probably a big sticking point.
Yeah, because it had to use actual proprietary
Hmm.
data from Nintendo in order to do
Yeah.
the thing it was doing. And that's
Because
already.
most other emulators don't need that. Which in turn will make it interesting if the other big Switch emulator will also be hit, if that's the case. Because
Well, no sooner.
Ryujinx also has that problem.
Well, it didn't. Well, I mean, most likely this is going to get forked. I mean, it's open source. It's going to be forked
Nah. I
until.
mean, yeah, someone is gonna have a fork, but they already made the source, the official source, unavailable on GitHub. So
Oh,
if
okay.
whatever someone already forked, that's gonna probably appear somewhere. And yeah, I'm pretty sure someone already has done that in the past multiple
Yeah,
times. So yeah, with that and with Citra, it's probably gonna reappear in some form, but
right.
not by these people.
So I was, like I said, I was more surprised. I mean, I don't know if
Hmm.
surprised is the right word because I was already like skeptical whether or not we'd ever actually see this actually go to court because
Hmm.
the cost
Yeah.
and going to court by itself, I wasn't 100%
Hmm.
sure they'd even be able to like manage the cost that Nintendo would put them through to take it to court. So
Yeah. That's.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised that it didn't go to court. I was surprised by how quickly
Yep.
they settled. But I guess I
Hmm.
shouldn't be surprised by that either. So, you know,
Yeah.
fuck
In
me for
this
being
case, yeah.
surprised.
In hindsight, there are multiple things that were pointers that it could probably be a one and done thing, but we'll see how it goes on, continues on with other emulators.
So, Capcom is
Hmm.
stepping up the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
Capcom to raise new graduate salaries by 28%, average salary by 5%. Capcom has announced it will raise the starting salary of new graduates by almost 30% in Japan in a move to attract exceptional talent. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you
Hmm.
want to get. I mean, if you want to get the best, if you want to get people with you want to get
If
people
you're
with
gonna get
talent.
good and motivate people, yeah,
You want to, yeah,
that's a good way to attract them.
I mean, Pat. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, money motivates. I mean, we
Hmm.
people can talk about it's the love of what they do that motivates them, but I'm not gonna lie to you. A good paycheck does help. Like,
Yeah,
let's not kid
and most
ourselves.
definitely,
Yeah,
most
like
definitely.
I have a buddy in the aeronautics engineering space.
Hmm.
And he loves what he does. All right, let me be very clear.
Hmm.
Loves what he does on like a fundamental scientific level. Loves what he does. It fulfills him.
Hmm.
But if you ask him what motivates
Hmm.
him to get to work some days at 4:30 in the goddamn morning on a goddamn Saturday, I will tell you
Yep,
it's not
money
the
is gonna
it's
definitely
not the
be.
passion for
Hmm.
what he does, nigga. It's the money.
A mixture of both is always a good combination. One
Not
or
gonna.
the other can only motivate you for so long.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna cap. He's honest.
Hmm.
He's like, bro, I love
Yep.
what I do, but I also
Hmm.
love getting that paycheck. That paycheck
Yep.
though. It's like, yeah,
Hmm.
of course, yeah. Money
Yeah.
motivates. That's all there's to it. Um,
Great pay will motivate you up until a certain point. Great passion for something will also motivate you up to a certain point. But both will get you so much further.
Yeah, you'll get very far on both. So I think it's great to
Hmm.
see
Yeah,
there
it's
is
the
moves.
sensible move.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wanna get talent in this industry. You wanna get people who have a fresh view of things, a fresh perspective,
Hmm.
and you're not gonna get those people unless you pay them. That's all there is to
Yeah.
it. People nowadays aren't. I mean, yeah, some people who are desperate might take a job at lower pay, but a lot of
Hmm.
people aren't going to be as motivated to go into something, especially with. I don't know what the stigma is around game development in Japan versus America. I think America has a pretty
Hmm.
bad rap. I think Western companies have a pretty bad fucking rap.
Especially right now.
Yeah, especially like right now. But I don't know what that scene looks like overseas. Maybe that's a different perspective there. But, you know, you want to
Yeah, I
attract
think
people.
Japan has a very different culture in general
It's a
around
very
work
yeah,
anyway. So
just from what I just from my cursory glance, it seems like a very
hmm. Yeah,
different
and it's not
view.
just game development in Japan, it's pretty much work all around. That's very different in terms of the culture.
Hey, CD,
Hmm.
do you want to know what I love more than good video games? Really salty video gamers, because Ghost of Tsushima Director's Edition,
Uh-huh.
Director's Cut
Yeah.
is coming to PC, and
Hmm.
motherfuckers are in they feelings about it, CD. They are in they
Yeah.
feelings about it.
Hmm. Yeah, the forums on Steam are a salt mine and a a grand old salt mine.
Oh man. Whoo, homies be up in they feelings about it. Like
Hmm.
like I get like feeling some kind of way about something, but some of y'all guys need to really I don't want to tell you to touch grass cuz I just think that's a really messed up
I
way to
get,
motivate someone, but maybe
yeah,
some of y'all might want to consider some vitamin D of the natural variety.
I get, I get reminded of a certain clip of a certain bard of a spoony variety about betrayal.
Yeah, but it's coming to PC May 16th. And I think that's great. I really would. I
Yeah,
want to go back and
perfect.
actually play Ghost of Tsushima. I haven't had a chance to actually
Hmm.
play it. It's a little out of my wheelhouse as far as games
Hmm.
go, but it looks so cool.
Yep.
It
The
looks so
best,
cool.
the best game about Japan not made by a Japanese dev.
I still love
Yeah.
the whole conversation about that game when it came out, and
Hmm.
people were like really up in their feelings about a Japanese
Yeah.
game not being made by a Japanese developer.
Hmm.
Like I was like,
and
yeah,
and the contrast of how the Japanese people themselves reacted to it.
yeah, they're like, yeah, like yo, this shit's dope.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so all right, purists, stay mad, I guess. Fucking cry, I
Hmm.
don't care. All right, so Warner Brothers has been having a pretty rough time.
Yeah. Hmm.
Not gonna lie, Warner Brothers hasn't been having a very good time lately, and you know, it's easy to dogpile them about Suicide Squad, and you know, I've done that already, so I ain't really here to do that again. Because that wasn't my
Hmm.
goal initially, but
Yeah.
Warner Brothers Discovery will likely delist all Adult Swim titles within 60 days. They're getting
Hmm.
delisted.
Yeah.
Uh, do we?
One of them, I think, small radios, big televisions. It was, I think, that one's making the game available for free,
Oh,
temporarily at least, until the dev can get the game back online separately, independent of Warner Brothers. But at least, at least that's what I heard. But it's certainly a shitty situation for a lot of these.
yeah, like it it's one of those situations where it's almost like Who do you get mad at? Do you get mad at like the Adult Swim branch? Do you get mad at Warner Brothers Discovery?
It's Warner
Like,
Brothers Discovery that made the decision, I think. So
so
it's
yeah, you get
on
mad at
them.
Warner Brothers Discovery. Like they're delisting your shit. Like that sucks. Oh Jesus.
Mhm.
Like, ugh.
Yeah, it's
And
no
like some
good.
of these things I'm seeing here, it's like I just don't think some of the stuff's gonna come back up. Like Samurai Jack or Rick or Morty, I don't think some of that stuff's gonna come back up. Not easily.
Hmm.
I don't think some of the stuff we might actually see come back, but some of it I'm just like, yeah, good fucking luck.
Hmm. Yeah, depends on who was the publisher, if it's self-published or what. Yeah, or if the devs or someone is even around and available to put it back up again.
All right. So
Yeah.
nothing, CD, there's a series of things in life. A
Hmm.
series of things in life that brings me a certain level of deep guttural joy. All right. And
Hmm.
those things are as follows: Steam sales and
Hmm.
RTS shooters where death sound like
Ah.
pop cans being crushed.
Yeah.
uh
Command and Crunch.
yeah,
Pepsi cans.
Command and Crunch. EA is adding some of their back catalog to Steam during this Electronic Arts classic game sale, and
Hmm.
this includes a swath of Command and Conquer games. Just
Yep.
all of the Command and Conquer games. Get all the Command and Conquer you could possibly want. The
For
Saboteur.
currently $10,
The
and so as long as the sale goes on, and after the sale is done, it's about $20 for all the Command Conquer games, which is still a decent price.
I don't think that's I'm not mad about that at all, honestly. That's not even
Hmm.
that bad of a price to begin with. The Saboteur, we got Populous,
Yep,
Alpha
the first
Centauri,
and Populous the Beginning, which was I think the third.
we got Dungeon Keeper Gold and Dungeon
Mhm.
Keeper 2, which is
Yeah.
buck fucking wild that EA's putting Dungeon Keeper back, putting the original Dungeon
Hmm.
Keeper out after that
Yeah.
mobile
Hmm.
game they put out. I'm honestly kind of surprised they have the 2-ton testicles to do that, because I remember that mobile game. EA,
Hmm. Yeah.
don't think I've forgotten.
I think these games have been around on GOG for a while now, but yeah, this is certainly first time these have come on to Steam, which is nice.
Yeah, obviously I've never
As
the
well as
more
SimCity 3000, which is yeah one of the best ones. Depending on who you ask, it's either that or 4.
It's only $1.99.
Yeah.
I might actually pick up SimCity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
That's actually a very tempting purchase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Alpha Centauri is also a really nice one. Essentially Civ in space.
I will have to probably pick up the SimCity then. I'm probably gonna have to pick
Mm-hmm.
that up. Didn't know I wanted it till now. Actually, thanks a lot for that, CD. Appreciate that. Always
You're welcome.
there's multiple reasons that we have worked together for so long and so well.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember that. I'm acknowledging there are multiple reasons. I don't have the kind of time to go over some of them, but I will simply say that. I love the fact that the last story is basically just a
Mm-hmm.
continuation of my segment from the beginning of the show. That is,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we've come back full circle, ladies and gentlemen. We've come back
Mm-hmm.
full circle.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Rebirth came out. As some of you, you know what? Fuck it. Look, we're not gonna cap. Y'all know it came out. Like, none of y'all
I
not
think
know. That's not
unless you're living below a rock or something, you know.
like unless you are the Rock. But even if you were the Rock in question, I don't think that you don't know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think even the Rock that someone's living
Yeah,
under
even he might
probably
know.
knows. He probably knows. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was number 2 top downloaded game on the US and EU PlayStation Store for February, only behind Helldivers 2,
Mm-hmm.
which
Which is pretty good since Rebirth only had 1 day in February. So
7 Rebirth released on the. I love this tweet. Also highlights that one detail. 7 Rebirth released on the final day of the month. God damn. Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know when the preload started for that, but it's probably not gonna have been that long before that, maybe a few days. But
It's only a few days.
given Helldivers 2 released on the 8th of February, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good number.
It's pretty fucking
Even though
impressive.
even though it's potentially lagging behind Remake significantly from another news article that I've seen, but that one's very limited in scope because that only looked at UK numbers and I think only retail. And there it was said that it's lagging behind around 30% behind Remake. But depending on how much has been done digitally with this release and how well it did in other regions, that might not be a significant difference after all.
It's still fucking impressive. That's
Yeah.
still
Yeah, and even 30% behind Remake would be a pretty good because this is a PS5 exclusive, and at the time when Remake came out, for one, there was obviously the COVID situation, so many people were playing games a lot.
Yeah.
That was an additional thing, and it was on the PS4, which had
A
around
significantly
double the
larger.
units,
Yeah. Significantly larger.
around the
user
double
base.
the install base than the PS5 has now, which the PS5 has around 50 to 60 million units sold overall, and the PS4 at the time, I think, had more than 100 million units sold. So, yeah, I'd say the 30% difference is still decent.
I will also say that I haven't seen a lot of things motivate people to buy a console. Rebirth was that game that made people who I know who were
Okay.
ardent Game Pass fanatics. These are people who were like, why would I
Okay,
ever
so
buy?
Xbox gamers.
Yeah, well, no, PC gamers. Like, why?
Oh, well,
A lot
yeah,
of
well,
them
that,
were,
yeah,
yeah,
Xbox
a
Game
lot,
Pass,
or
yeah,
just
it's
like
also
Steam Deck
both.
users. They're like, why would I ever pay
Okay.
for a game if I can just play it on Game Pass? And then Rebirth
Okay.
came out, and I could tell you, quite a few of them ponied up for the PS5, which was
Okay.
impressive. Wasn't
Cool.
expecting that from them. That was not
That's cool.
a move I was particularly expecting.
That's cool, but yeah, I can see Rebirth being the game for that. True. But
Yeah,
I'm waiting around and I'm gonna see when it comes out to other platforms because this one could be quicker available on other platforms.
I'd imagine. I'd imagine.
Yeah,
I'd
just even just giving the noted limited exclusivity time that they've had noted in the trailer pre-release of just 3 months, which seems really low. So I'm
all
wondering what
right.
they have planned there. If
So
it's
I
gonna be an
have
Epic Games exclusive for a while, or if they're gonna relatively quickly come to Steam, given how they did the remake release with the Steam Deck and all. So that's gonna be interesting.
So I have two things I'm going to bring up. One of them is minor leagues. One of them is mostly something I was interested in actually seeing be announced, and one of them is kind of serious. Thing I was actually interested in was they announced a pass for Persona 3 Reload, and they're going to be making the answer content from the PS2 version of Fez. It's coming to Reload. We're finally getting a modern version of the answer. So ladies and gentlemen, what's up?
Portable didn't have that?
No, Portable did not have the answer.
Okay.
All Portable
that was based on the original version.
All Portable did was add female MC or female main character. That's the only change.
They built Portable from the base version, not Fez, and added the female main character.
Yeah, as far as I can tell.
Okay, interesting.
And then Reload. So Reload's weird. So as far as I could tell, Reload is mostly based off of Fez. There were some changes between like the original game and the Fez version of the game, mostly with a couple of confidants they added and like being able to move stuff around. And obviously the answer epilogue thing that they did, which has been the big sticking point for Persona 3 purists when it comes to these different versions that get launched. Because a lot of them, the only one that's ever actually had the answer was the PS3 emulated PS2 game of Persona 3 Fez. That was the only one that had the but that was basically just the PS2 game anyway. So yeah, that was basically
so they did a PS3 probably PSN release of Fez or okay, interesting.
So now officially they've announced that this is basically just getting a season pass. And honestly, the season pass is
kind of a weird one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about it. This season pass is the most nothing burger ass shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It is. All right. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm about to take this fucking show for a goddamn ride. This season pass is This season pass has 3 things attached to it. It's got some costumes. It's got some music. These are 2 separate items on the season pass. They're not in the same package. They're 2 separate release items. And the answer content.
Yep.
The answer content is obviously fucking last because you're not going to end with the weak shit. You're going to end with the strong shit. So
yeah. And first thing releases, I think, in March.
Yep.
The second was May, and then September.
September. Fucking 4 months. Jesus. like I get game development isn't quick. Like, I'm not saying that.
Obviously, it takes time, but why even do an expansion pass in a case like this? Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, you already have DLC available for the game that people can buy. Yeah. Just launch those 2 other things as just normal DLC, and then launch the answer.
Make a pre-order for the DLC. Yeah, and make a pre-order for the answer.
Do a pre-order for the answer. Like, I don't understand why this is even a thing. It's really fucking weird. I don't get it.
Yep.
I don't get it, and someone's gonna have to help me understand because I don't get it. But yeah, so that happened, and that's cool because aside from female MC, that basically puts Reload pretty close to being the best version of the game, or at least the most complete version of the game in comparison to the Fez version. If we're putting this up against Fez, this is the most parity we've had.
So in September it becomes Persona 3, the almost complete version.
Yeah, it depends on who you talk to. There are some people who are really, really tied in with the female MC from Portable and think that without her, without that, it's not a complete game. I disagree. I'm not going to get into it. It's a lot of argument with nerds. I don't want to get. I'm all about nerd arguments. Believe me, I've argumented with nerd shit many times in my life. I'm not arguing with this one. So, all right. So, I'm happy that I was able to make us all smile, but unfortunately, this last bit of news was not in the actual story notes. But I don't want to not mention it. We found out on the 7th of this month that esteemed mangaka creator and artist passed away, Akira Toriyama, at the age of 68 from acute subdural hematoma. Damn. I need you all to really take in how important Akira Toriyama is to the scene. I need y'all to really understand that if it wasn't for Akira Toriyama, there would be no Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest would not be here. Dragon
Maybe
Quest
not
would
even
not
throw on
exist.
trigger.
Yeah, Dragon Quest wouldn't be. There's a decent chance Final Fantasy might not have even existed without his contribution into making Dragon Quest. Like, I need y'all to really understand just how deeply this man is connected to just the heart of not only manga but gaming in general. This man was deeply connected. And it is a goddamn... I didn't know he was 68. Did not know that. Did not know he was 68. I was unaware. I thought he was older.
Ah, okay.
I thought he was older. I didn't know he was six. I mean, don't get me wrong, 68 ain't no spring chicken, but what, Miyamoto's pushing like 70? I think he's pushing like early 70s.
See, Miyamoto is currently 71.
Yeah, early 70s. Yeah, he's pushing like 70. Yo, Japanese creators in this space, these dudes built different. There are so many like Western creators who would have retired long before now, but you got people like Akira Toriyama who was still creating, who was still putting in work with fucking Dragon Ball. Like,
he had multiple projects ongoing and planned.
Yeah,
so,
he was. Yeah, he was still putting in work on the thing, on these things. So I gotta be honest, man. That's rough. I just don't. That's a loss.
And yeah, you could really feel the influence that he had with the reactions that people had online. Because goddamn, my timeline was fucking overflowing.
Oh yeah, no, it's everywhere. It's fucking.
It's really from everywhere.
Yeah.
Also, South America is. Even China did an official announcement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. If you have that, you know you've done big.
Yeah, you've done something.
Yeah. And the fandom in South America, Latin America, is gigantic.
Like, I think it's easy for people to like only really credit Akira Toriyama to some degree with like the influence he had in like anime becoming popular in the West. When you really think about it, anime didn't really start to take off in the West till Dragon Ball Z. I know Dragon Ball probably did exist on TV in the West. I know, fucking spare me. Every time I bring this up, someone's like, but actually, I'm like, yeah, I fucking know. But nobody gave a shit.
Contributed, I'd say, but yeah.
Nobody.
I mean, looking back, you could probably make different arguments of what exactly started it, what contributed
Nobody
how
cared
much,
until Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z happened, and then people cared. And, you know, I can't possibly state enough how much a lot of his art just contributes. It's timeless. It's fucking How many people have not seen, like, any of the designs he's created for characters? Like, honestly, the main character from DQ11 is the most Akira Toriyama fucking design. Fucking the reason why Dragon Quest works so well in 3D is because of the designs he's come up with for the monsters. They're iconic. That's and the localization team that decides to name these fucking monsters has a fucking sense of humor. I'm just gonna say that much right the fuck now. You all have a sense of humor. I see you. Localization is a real talent and you deserve to be paid well. Just thought I'd put that out there. Felt that was
Yeah. When localization is done well, they deserve it.
Yeah, when it's done well and you're not trying.
Unlike other instances we've had.
yeah. Fucking localization is not here to rewrite the script, ladies and gentlemen. I don't. Just gonna
Unicorn Overlord.
Yeah, don't fucking. Your job is to localize it, not to rewrite it. Don't fucking know your role. Stay in your lane, please. You all want to write video games and write video games, but don't get into localization to write video games. That's not what you're here for. My point is, this is a loss this is a loss to anime. It's a loss to gaming. It's a loss to the mangaka community. Fuck, man. Like, it's a loss in general. It's a loss when anybody dies, but to say that Akira Toriyama's fucking impact on what we know as gaming and manga today isn't gonna be felt is fucking absurd.
He'll be remembered well.
I will also say the letter that was put out was man, that was a good letter, but it also kind of speaks to, like, I guess Japanese sentiment, which makes sense. I kind of get it. Where it's personal service was held for his family and few relatives. Following the following wishes for tranquility, we respectfully inform you that we would not accept flowers, condolence gifts, or anything of the sort. That I get. Fair. There have even been like vigils in Final Fantasy 14, which makes sense. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
makes sense. But I wanted to end the show with that. That wasn't actually on the show notes, but you guys know I don't play by scripts or fucking rules on this show. God forbid I do such a thing. Naturally. Why would I? Like, you, yeah, sure, you write the show notes, but I make the show. That's all there is to it, baby. That's all. God, I'm at an hour and 6. I'm not gonna end the show yet. I still got like a solid like 7-8 minutes. Shit. I got 7-8 minutes to do what I want with this show before I have to wrap. Ooh, y'all made it.
Strap in.
Ooh, y'all made a mistake. Y'all made a mistake, and I don't know how I feel about it. You know what, man? I'm gonna say it like out loud. Are we planning on talking about Sweet Baby on this show at some point? Or are we just not gonna? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get into it now. We don't have enough time. But I'm wondering, did you have any plans on ever actually?
Yeah, depending on how these things continue, yeah, I think this is becoming too big to ignore. Because boy, is this a shit show.
There's a level of like stories, like things happen on the internet, and like a lot of times we just don't. Sometimes we just don't. We see it and it's like, all right, cool, but no, I'm not covering that.
Yeah, like a nice thing going on over there. It's going on over there.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with that. That's not my problem. But I wanted to ask about Sweet Baby because that's been like eating up space on my fucking timeline feed on fucking YouTube. And
oh boy, has it.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. My feed on YouTube, Blue Sky, fucking the few times I log on to fucking X accidentally. When I accidentally log on to X, it's taking up space.
I even just kept myself back when we talked about Toriyama because one of the employees
Jesus.
Baby actually made a fucking stupid comment.
Oh, Jesus. I think I don't remember exactly what was said, but I do know they said something.
It was someone. You gotta have range when you go from making the worst representation of a POC to the best representation of one, something like that. And
what's the worst?
Oh boy,
what's the worst?
I'm relatively sure he meant Mr. Popo.
He's not
relatively
black.
sure.
He's not black. Like,
Exactly, but try telling that to stupid fucking idiots.
Like, did y'all miss the fucking the fucking abridged? Like, they tackle this. He's not black. Like, he throws Vegeta
Well, even
off the
Abridged knows that, yeah.
he throws Vegeta off the podium because he keeps calling him a black man. Like, that's why he's not. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Missed the fucking. I was gonna say missed the point, but they didn't even get the fucking point.
Nope.
To miss
idiot.
To miss the point, you have to be aware of what the point is and then miss it.
Yep.
But they don't even. I can't even say they missed the point because I'd be giving them credit because that would mean they'd acknowledge the point. And they probably wouldn't. Maybe we will have to cover. I was hoping that they would. I was hoping the story would like fucking die out in like a day.
That it would just be a short bit and then it just fall off a cliff and be done. But
yeah,
I'm gonna actually have to look around and look at sources and the timeline of it all and
isn't that like? I feel like that's kind of like the crux of like journalism, and I almost hate it. It's this, okay, hear me out. So like, you're a journalist, right? And some shit happens and you're like, God, I don't want to have to, like, this is such a fucking stupid ass story. And then like it keeps like shit keeps popping off, so you're like,
keep rolling on and rolling on and rolling on. I'm gonna
have to fucking dig into this, aren't I? God damn it. And then you dig into it and it's like dumber than you thought, but it was actually something you needed to cover. So you're like, I fucking hate this story. I fucking despise it. Yeah, I feel like that's like
but in contrast to other people who cover this, who are actually journalists, we're not, but we still have to do some work in it.
I would still like, I don't like to get shit. I don't want us to like get shit wrong. Like that doesn't help.
Exactly.
Like I don't necessarily
you still have to do something in that area.
Like I don't necessarily think that like the concept of like some relative amount of due diligence isn't at least semi something you should care about. Like
absolutely.
at the bare minimum, I don't want to be the jackass saying one thing and then the truth be completely the opposite. Like, fine.
Yep.
If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. That's fine. But at some point, you go from making a mistake to just straight up malpractice. And I'm just not down with being a liar. Like, that's just not something I'm down with.
Yep.
Like, I can't. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's like, oh, you're not a journalist. You're not held to the same standards. No, but nobody should want to be wrong on purpose, nigga. Like, that's not the point. Like,
and the problem we've seen too often is that even journalists don't make the effort.
Yeah, like fine, put aside the title. Nobody, like, being wrong isn't something to hold up. Like, if someone's like, the sky's green, and then everyone looks up at the sky and the sky's obviously blue, but your dumbass is like, nah, dude, the sky is green. It's like, bro,
I'm a journalist. I fact-checked it. That's green.
I fact-checked it. It's green. You're still wrong. Like, that's not... No amount of fact-checking fixes the fact if you stick your fucking foot in your mouth and eat the shit. Like, that doesn't fix it. Like, maybe I'm crazy.
Even in the contrary, I mean, it's even worse when you're a journalist and you get things deliberately wrong.
I mean,
then double down on it.
You know, it's like I make jokes at the expense of that one Kotaku chick who claimed there was a slur in a Persona 5 song. Because I do genuinely feel that you should be shamed for malpractice of that level. You didn't You didn't. That wasn't an op-ed piece. That wasn't an opinion piece. That was just you reporting that there was a slur in the fucking video game. There's a very big difference. If you wanted to write that, start your own fucking unofficial blog and then write that trash. But you work for a multinational fucking company with, like, I assume staff and fucking editors and people who get paid real money, not monopoly money, to fucking do their jobs.
I mean, maybe.
I assume you would at some point.
Although at this point, nothing would surprise me with Kotaku.
Like, you're wrong. And that's fine. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Sometimes it's not the fact that you're wrong that sucks. It's the fact that you're wrong, provably, and then you sit there and go, well,
and then
actually,
you still double down.
And you double down.
You still double down, and you don't acknowledge your errors.
Yeah, it's like,
you don't acknowledge your mistakes.
So you're wrong. So you're wrong. You're wrong, and you would just choose to be wrong than just admit that you're wrong. Fantastic. Cool. Great progress, ladies and gentlemen. Hundreds of years of human progress thrown down the fucking drain because you can't acknowledge that you're wrong. Congratulations. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you can find this podcast on a variety of platforms such as Google, Apple, and Spotify, where I make these fantastic transitions. On our YouTube channel, and also on our YouTube channel, Turn-Based Cynics. No statement as to when, but it will be there. You have my word, my solemn promise that there will be content. I've been doing decently well so far, so, you know, knock on the wood. And as always, everybody, there are too many fucking games to play. We got Dragon Dogma 2 coming out towards the end of this goddamn month. I got Rebirth to play. I gotta finish recording Remake. I gotta continue working on Arise. My dude, listen, CD, listen. We eating good. That's we feasting out here right now, right?
This year is a good release year so far.
Yeah, right now, us RPG gamers, we eating wonderfully. Fucking my plate is not at risk of being empty. Let me say that much now. No risk of being empty. I hope you've all enjoyed this show, ladies and gentlemen, as much as I have. Despite my tirades. I'm not apologizing for them, if you're wondering, but I'm just saying, despite them, I hope you still enjoyed the show. I refuse to apologize. Until then, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully the sweet baby story dies in a fire so I don't have to cover this train wreck, but knowing my luck, it's just going to get worse. So maybe you'll hear about it next week. Until then, everybody, stay tuned, and we will see you all next time.
See ya.